Hi everyone, welcome back to David at Go to Hobbies. Do you know what? I'm pissed off, effed off, and really was annoyed. Why? How my daughter talks about me. She's 28, 29, and the trouble is, she says what she thinks. Never mind about how it affects other people. She she probably didn't mean it in the way she said it, and calling me a deaf bastard. Do you know something? This is the difference in generation. I don't, I did, but I very, very, very rarely use the terminology. I always used to call my mum and dad. And I had respect for them. I might not have liked my dad for his ways, but I respected him. And I can't say the same for my daughter respecting me because of what she says. And that's the difference in generations. Modern day families, their children have no respect for their parents, family members, brothers, sisters, and what's made them like this? Is it the crap they watch on TV? Is it their friends they mix with? Is it radio and TV? Is it school? And that's another subject, isn't it? Schools and the lack of discipline. And you think to yourself, when we used to go to school, our sort of generation, luckily I never got the cane. The cane was phased out in just as at my age. I'm glad, because I was like a little pain in the arse. But I feel that the generation when our age and the generation now are as different as chalk and cheese. There's no respect. There's no discipline. There's no ethics. Definitely a lack of will and understanding. No common sense. No moral understanding. No care. No companionship. And it's all about me, 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 and the self ego. And how do I look? I've got to have the latest phone. I've got to have the latest app. I've got to have the latest this. I've got to have the latest that. I've got to have a PlayStation. I've got to have this. I've got to have that. I've got to have the latest keyring. I've got to have the latest shoes, clothes, hairstyle, glasses. It doesn't end, does it? And you wonder why we have a society so fragmented, so got their heads stuck up their backside. This hasn't just happened. It's been going on for a very long time. And I don't think it's just happened. I think it's been orchestrated because the government or the powers that be want us to be, what's the word I'm looking for? In disarray. And in turmoil. Because when we're like that, we're easy to control. And if we're low in self-esteem, unhappy, we're easily manipulated. So as the old saying goes, you kick a man when he's down, he won't get up. And this is where I'm going with it. And that is our government or governments in the past knew this. And I made a video about this, about divide and conquer. And to be honest with you, I tell you what, and this is the honest truth, I noticed a change in society a long time ago. And you hear about AI and the introduction of AI. I used to do a lot of research, so I noticed things. And I noticed that they was doing things for a reason where there was almost like teaching AI, but they didn't bring it into the public domain. They were doing it subliminally, covertly. So it was teaching the AI to recognize facial recognition, movements, and interpretation of facial expressions, people's behavior. This has been going on for a very long time, right? Is it true? Is it me making assumptions? I don't know. All I'm going to say to you, I notice these things. Bear with me for a second, please. Sorry about that. Started yawning. I thought I'd better have a drink. I thought I had a coffee next to me, but I've drunk all of that. So I had to drink water. But the point I'm trying to make is that our society has changed. And I wouldn't say it's for the good. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I used to watch a program called Out of Town with Jack Hargreaves. Anyone like you or me at the same sort of our age, we would remember those sort of programs, like Thunderbirds and stuff like that, Marine Boy and all those, Jack and Laurie, Play School, all that. Yeah, we remember those programs. But what they put on now, my giddy auntie, what a load of crap. And when you get your kids in school, I am absolutely astounded where they're going with this education. I'll tell you now, right? They taught me to read, they taught me to write, they taught me to do maths, English, and a bit of history, metalwork, woodwork, and stuff like that. Pottery. And the thing is, when you go to work, okay, you'll use reading and writing, mathematics. Depends what field you go down. And the thing is, half the stuff half the stuff you get taught at school, you're not going to use in the real world. You're not going to use some of the things you got taught, and you think to yourself, what a load of crap they're teaching us. Okay, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a scientist, I am an engineer by trade, and I used to do things about tempering steel, cutting, sawing, making things, DIY, you name it, in that sort of field I've done it. I've done welding, I've done arc welding, MIG welding, gas welding, engineering side, all that sort of things. I loved it. I did enjoy that. And I started working in a factory. And then I started driving. Learned to drive a car and stuff like that. And then I started getting into a career of driving trucks. Sorry, mate, lad, you're getting a little bit heavy. And I thought to myself, quite like this, so that's what I did. But no one warned me about the attitude of people on the road. And as I'm coming back to what I was saying about people's attitudes, a lot of them are self-centered, ignorant arseholes, to put it a better way. They've got their head shoved up their backsides, and they don't know whether they're coming or going. They've got this little ego sitting on their shoulder saying, do this, do that. I'm better than anyone else. You don't have to indicate. You don't have to say please. You don't have to say thank you. You're the biggest arsehole in the world. And they know it. And they like it. Because it pisses people off. And they enjoy that. And that is why people have so many problems. Because they're self-centered egos care about themselves and not about other people. If more people was like that, we'd be in a better world, a happier place, and we wouldn't have half the violence and upset and traumas and everything else to go with it. But unfortunately, we live in a different world to that. We live in the real world where there's crime, murder, the R word, and everything else goes besides that. We are a barbaric race, and it's hard to draw a line between the good and the bad. So we all get painted with the same brush in the human race. Unpredictable, cannot be trusted, and very self-centered. And our egos get the better of us. Yes, I could talk from experience. But you think to yourself, when you get older, you look back at your past and you think to yourself, wow, I was a dick, wasn't I? Or I was an arsehole. And you think to yourself, I don't like being like that. What's the matter, mate? All right. So I do you would decide to turn around. And some of us, the light bulb come on. And you realise that there's a better life out there than being an absolute dickhead. Some of us, excuse me, sorry, my bum's going numb. So some of us realise that we need to change. And I've been one of those blokes that I will talk for Britain, as you might have gathered. And I can probably talk the hind legs of a donkey, as the old saying goes. But my intentions are, to be honest, to be truthful, and say it as it is. That's what David does, and that's David's way. If I don't like something, I'll tell you, and that is the best policy. Honesty is the best policy. And when I make a video about this government, I'll tell you the truth. If I think someone's a prick, I will tell you that. Doesn't do me any favours sometimes because it'll probably get me in trouble. But, sorry, sometimes truth hurts. And I think you would respect me more by telling you the truth and telling you how I feel about a subject, whether it be my wife, my dogs, Tom, Dick or Harry down the road, our government, and so on and so forth. Or if I was playing a game. You know, if I didn't like the game, I'd tell you what's wrong with it, what's right with it, is it this, is it that, those sort of things. So I could say I'm a practical person. And the difference is nowadays is what you see from our generation. I was born in 1961, right? So that makes me, yeah, you guessed it. And I think to myself, there's all those years of experience, all those years of knowledge. So this is why I make the videos, to pass on my feelings, my thoughts, my knowledge to you. Eventually, this will help someone. This video now that you're watching will probably be on the internet for eons of time. I don't know how things will go. But hopefully this video will help someone to understand that if you want to get somewhere in life, you got to be honest to yourself. You got to be honest to other people. You got to have self-integrity and trustworthiness. And at the end of the day, who's your biggest enemy? Is you. If you've got a chip on your shoulder, you're not only a danger to yourself, but you're a danger to the rest of humanity, because you've got an attitude problem. Get rid of the attitude, become a better person, and then everyone will like you. Simple. Easy, isn't it? Right, I think I've waffled on for too long. What you started with has turned out to be totally different. But that's how life goes, isn't it? You plan one thing and end up doing something totally different. And that's where we are now. So please like, share and subscribe. And before I fall asleep, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.